Check 1-2, radio check. Over still. Run the bomb to the corner. Lane up through the trial zone. Check up, Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everybody to get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait till after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Everybody split up right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs your line way. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland is Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.
Engines roar louder than a lion about to feast. Racers in the zone, gripping wheels like a beast. Outcast League, tearing up the blacktop terrain. Rubber burning speed, churning gasoline in their veins. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Peacemaker's lens captures it clean. Broadcast a dream on a digital screen. NASCAR hearts with that outlaw creed. Outcast racing warriors of speed. Start your engines, thunder shakes the pit. Chrome shining bright, every car's legit. Draft moves tighter than a surgeon's hand. Chasing glory down roads cut loose from the land. From dusk to dawn, they circle the fight. Tires scream rebellion under stadium lights. Lap by lap, adrenaline sparks the night. Outcast League ends never out of sight. Racetrack gladiators, helmets on tight. Every second matters, every turn ignites. Born for the fuel, engines never betray. At the finish line, see who outruns the freight.
Woo! Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome in as we get ready to rumble here this evening for the INTEC 300 here with the Outcast Racing League, as each and every one of these drivers looking to try to find their way up and into victory lane here this evening from the beautiful Darlington Raceway. Now do bear with us here, we are sick this afternoon, chat, so Bear with us. We're going to try to keep it together here for as long as we can, but we have been dealing with, I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like a stomach flu or some sort of a bug that we've had over the last couple days. It has not been very fun, but we're going to keep on trucking through. We're going to keep on battling through, and we'll get ready here for what will be an amazing night of racing action from the Lady in Black. Is out in front. The Must Love Poodles number 48 ride of Grant Humphrey will start in that pole position. Johnny Barker will start there to his outside. And then we see the 11 of Mark Belair there in third. Colton Manage, Josh Bromfield, Rob Lowell, Devin Black, Anthony Garland, Joshua Benton, and Edward Belair rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway as we end all the anticipation with our feature presentation. And oh baby, already a little bit of a mishap right there. Barker got a big launch and a big run down into that Geico restart zone. The officials may take a look back at that one as he may have jumped a little early here. So they're in the box, and I don't know. I mean, he was kind of already out of it when he kind of got going there. I don't know. I don't think he really jumped early. I just think the 48 ride jumped super late, just did not get a great restart there. And we will see the caution flag come out as they're going to try to get things reset out there as Anna says, oh no, feel better. Also, go James. Cheered on James here this evening. Shout out there to James. Shout out to all the amazing fans of the stands. And yes, I appreciate that. I'm hoping that I can feel better, man. I'm going to work tomorrow. I don't know. I may have to take tomorrow off, which is not going to be very fun. I mean, obviously, that's extra days pay out of my back pocket. That makes the bills that much tougher throughout the month. But, you know, it is what it is. And, man, I don't want to get everyone else sick there at the work site as well. And putting them in that position and giving them or their families, you know, more problems to deal with as well. So we'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. It's a potential we might be there. Well, we'll see how we feel in the morning, but it's going to definitely be tough as we do see the caution flag come out, though. Obviously, a bit of a broken up restart there. Well, start of this race, so I think they wanted to get that yellow flag out, kind of get everyone kind of restacked up, packed up and ready to kind of try that all over again as we'll go back through the rest of the field as we do see that Mecha Motorsports 54 ride of Jonathan Byram, Edward Belair. He's fallen a couple spots early on, back to 11th. Wayne Garland, Nicholas Barton, Ryan Anderson. Good to see Anderson back out there in that DuPont number 44 ride. Then we do see Michael Wolf out there in that beautiful 10 machine. Chris Wolford in that number 51. And then we see Austin Smith. Good to see Austin Smith back out there on the racetrack. It's been a little while since we saw Mr. Smith out there on the speedway, but Austin rolling right now in about the 17th spot on the speedway with Casey Gross, Mike Killingbeck, Chris Muse, rounding out our top 20 here on the racetrack. Rob Tuiscu, Gary Wright, James Garland back in 23rd. Then we see Evan Fuqua, Brandon Puffenbarger, Jameson Heath, who's down pit side, and the number 2 of Corey Crowell, also down pit road here. Now, there may have been other issues. Now, we saw this caution flag come out, but there may have been problems, and it looks like there was. So, out of this initial start, we talked about how things kind of got bunched together and jumbled up right there, and I think this is going to be exactly kind of, you know, the amount of that. As you see the 70 run at Killingbeck slow up against the outside fence. I'm not sure if he missed a shift or something, but they all start piling in here, and unfortunately, 20 of Crowell kind of comes shooting down the racetrack into the lap here of that 71 of Jameson Heath. Both drivers end up making hard contact with each other with that inside fence. Pretty solid damage there for both cars out on the speedways. We love seeing a lot of these throwback paint schemes, man. We love these throwback paint schemes. See the DeWalt Power Tools number 20 ride, the Tide 71 of Mr. Jameson Heath there. Obviously, a couple of those throwback paint schemes, the old school looking rides, the Valvoline number 70 ride, a Mark Martin throwback paint scheme, or at least I'm pretty sure it's a Mark Martin paint scheme there for that 70 machine of Mr. Killingbeck. And there's a few other drivers out there. You see the Zero machine, that is the 16 of Gary Wright, old school throwback paint scheme. Chris Muse, he's got the Wrangler number 3 back out there on the speedway. We love to see that. And now here we go, back to green flag racing, and again, oh brother, Gosh, the flag going to come right back out here. Obviously, this is what I feel once we get going, once we get a couple laps here, I think we'll be good to go. But unfortunately here, another big mistake here on this restart is the 84 ride of Wayne Garland. Wayne just kind of steps on it right there, loses that rear end, slides around, puts himself up into the outside fence, and stop there in the middle of the racetrack. Caution flag comes back out, and that will be another restart on the horizon. And for a few of these drivers, more damage, more contact here. Let's take a look here at this number 84 ride and see what happens. Yeah, just I don't know if he's trying to upshift right there or if he just didn't realize that he was in a lower gear. Let's see if we can jump into the helmet cam here, get a great look and listen in at Mr. Wayne Garland, see what happens. Alrighty, so you can see he was starting in that second gear. So he was restarting in second. Obviously, you see him build up that speed, trying to get a big run, and as he stomps on that throttle, it just kicks that rear end out. A lot of tire spin, and unfortunately, here at Darlington Raceway, man, it's a dirty racetrack. There's a lot of debris out there, a lot of dust, and unfortunately, it's very, very easy to do that. It's very easy to spin those tires, especially on restarts, and put yourself into a position like that, as that's going to bring a lot of these drivers right back down pit side. As you see Evan Fuqua, Crowell's back down there. He's looking to get more repairs to the 20 ride. Gary Wright, we see Killing back. Obviously, Wayne Garland's down there. They're all getting some more work done to their race cars. And out in front, we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing here in just a couple more moments. Now, Johnny Barker, I don't know what was going on here with this restart, but somehow he gets, oh, it looks like maybe a missed shift right there, the 48 ride. Okay, so that's how he's able to work his way in front of Grant Humphrey there prior to that caution flag coming back out. So it looked like Humphrey may have, ran into some issues there on his own. Looks like he ended up missing a shift, and he does virtually the same thing as what we saw Wayne Garland do. He gets into the fence. Now, luckily enough, he's able to catch it, and hopefully not too much damage here onto the 48 ride, but right here, steps on it, gets into the fence there a little bit, but losing all that speed and momentum. 6 rides able to pull down to the inside, pass the start finish line, make that pass, and as the caution lights come back on, down into corner number 1 for them, it puts Johnny Barker to the point here in that Rowdy Energy number 6 ride. Grant Humphrey will fall back into position number 2, so he'll have to try to rebound and obviously clean up these starts here. He's had a bit of a rough go with the starts, and for the 48 ride, you can't have those mistakes, especially later in this race and throughout this race, where we'll see probably a lot more restarts here. And if you continue to lose spots, continue to put yourself into positions like that or get in contact and damage there, it could take you to this race a whole lot sooner than you want. As we'll get them all ready to rumble, ready to go back to Green Flag Racing. As once again, do bear with us, chat. We are sick, so if we sound nasally or maybe sometimes even just mispronouncing things or getting a little sidetracked, it's kind of just me being down with the sickness, man. It's been playing with my mind. It's been, oh man, it's got me down bad, chat. It's got me down bad for the last little while. Here we go. Restart. Johnny Barker, great jump, great launch right there for the 6 ride. He's able to hit it perfectly, able to work out in his favor as he pulls a bunch of car lengths away from our second place driver, that 48 of Grant Humphrey. And this time, looks like we're able to at least make it half a lap prior to a caution flag. You see Anthony Garland trying to move forward. Here comes Joshua Benton and Jonathan Byram. Now as we start to get rolling here, I feel like after maybe a couple laps, Green Flag Racing here, getting the drivers a little bit more comfy, a little bit more casual out there on the speedway, I feel like we can really start to see these guys click on some good, hard Green Flag laps out on the speedway. So it'll take them a couple laps, I think, to get clear of it, but once they kind of do, I'm sure we'll see a lot of good Green Flag laps being laid down. And for now, it is Johnny Barker who's got the top spot. Barker's out in front. He's carrying on at the point here, but we'll see if Grant Humphrey and that Must Love Poodles number 48 ride can track him down as Colton Manage there in third. Mark Belair, great run going here for that progressive number 11 ride of Mark Belair as he rolls there in that fourth position on the racetrack. Devin Black right there as well. He's trying to work that beautiful number 7 up a little closer to the front of the pack here. He's inside our top 5 as of right now, but looking to see if he can make that move around Mark Belair. Maybe try to jump up into position number 4, as you do see Rob Lowell right there behind him in that G-Stone number 21 ride. Joshua Bromfield right there as well. Josh Bromfield looking strong, looking really good here, rolling back in that 7th position. Has his Poor Boy Motorsports Outcast Racing League teammate right there with him, right behind him, but you do see Joshua Benton, Byram's a little farther back there. Then things start to get a little bit more broken up here. A lot more bigger gaps starting to get brewed out there on the speedways. Edward Belair, Nicholas Barton just outside our top 10. Then we see Ryan Anderson, the 4-rider Austin Smith. Then looks like Smith's trying to keep on working his way forward. Michael Wolf's right there, as well as Casey Gross in that 3 machine of Chris Muse. Muse trying to work his way up and into position number 16 on the speedway, making that pass there on the Quantum Motorsports number 77. He's going to quickly go after the 10 ride and maybe even the 44. Seems like Muse is definitely on the march towards the front here, clicking him off in a quick hurry, and just made 1, 2, 3 passes right there on that lap, and Muse is definitely marching towards the front here. So you see Jamison Heap trying to rebound after that early race issue, early race contact there for the 71. He's back up into the 18th position with Brandon Puffenbarger, Chris Wolford, James Garland back in 21st. Rob Tuwiscu in the RT3 Designs number 8 ride, rolling there in that 22nd position. Gary Wright, Mike Killing back the 2 of Corey Crowell. Well, it's the 20 ride now of Corey Crowell. Unfortunately, maybe still dealing with a little bit of that damage. Maybe just trying to take it a little bit easier here throughout this run, knowing that he's going to have to try to figure something out, not only to get track position back, but also trying to, get some repairs, get this car back into 100% and back into the battle here this evening. Looks like it may be a long day, though, for Corey Crowell, but we've seen him do this in the past, kind of be at the back of the pack for, 80, 70% of it, and all of a sudden, he just kind of marches forward and ends up, putting together a heck of a show, a heck of a run, and puts himself into a really good, strong position late in the race. So we'll have to wait and see if that's the same game plan there for Corey Crowell, as we see the AC Delco number 75 ride of Evan Fuqua. He's back here. He's got a little right front damage. He's earned his Darlington stripes here this evening, as the 75 has found the outside fence at least once or twice here. There it is again. And obviously now with that damage on that right front, it's going to get tougher and tougher for him to try to hang on to that, to try to keep himself, right there in that position, in that possibility of not getting back into the fence. Unfortunately, it's just going to keep dragging him up there. That damage will keep him kind of rolling up towards that outside fence, where he may end up getting even more damage to that 75 ride. And he's got to be careful, because our race leader, Johnny Barker, not too far back there away from him and trying to put him a lap down out there on the speedway. But you do see Barker out in front. He's got about 1.1 seconds now between himself and Grant Humphrey. Humphrey back in position number 2 at Colton Manage there in third. And unfortunately, that is the 84 rider, Wayne Garland. Wayne does find himself at least 2 laps down out there on the racetrack right now. So he's looking for a quick caution flag again, a couple wave arounds, a couple lucky ducks to try to work himself back on the lead lap, back into the action here this evening. And unfortunately, he's just in a tough spot here. It could be a very long day for that 84 ride if any more of these drivers start to lose laps out there on the racetrack, like the 75 Evan Fuqua. That would move Evan into the lucky duck position, and that could potentially trap that number 84 2 laps down out there on the speedway. But out in front, man, we do see a pass for the race lead. Johnny Barker slips up, and Grant Humphrey now gets around him here. So I'm not sure. Looks like maybe right here. There it is. Okay, so he's going to earn his Darlington stripes. Gets up a little too high into corner number 3 and 4. And unfortunately here for our race leader, had that second in a bit, and unfortunately right there, you see him get sideways up into the outside fence, lost all that speed and momentum, now has a bit of that damage. The 84 ride, or 48 ride, a Grant Humphrey, able to just cruise control right on back by him, and back out in front of the field here. So for Grant Humphrey, maybe just being a little bit more easy breezy out there on the speedway, maybe trying to save a little bit of tire early on in this run, maybe working out for that 48 ride, but we'll see if Johnny Barker can battle back, and hopefully that damage, the contact there, doesn't create a tire rub or potentially any catastrophic issues there for that Rowdy Energy number 6 machine, as he's looking to try to chase back down Grant Humphrey, looking to try to work his way back to the point out there on the speedway, but he's going to have his hands full out there on the racetrack, trying to work his way back around that 48 ride. As Colton Manich just hanging out back here in position number 3. Mark Belair, probably the best run we've seen out of Mark. Great to see the young man having a good run, good drive out there on the speedway. And Mark currently runs in that 4th position. Has been there since virtually the drop of the green flags here this evening, and hasn't really lost any positions, gained any positions. He's technically started in 3rd. Kind of went back to 4th right at the get-go, and he's just been kind of hanging out right there. He's had Devin Black, Josh Bromfield right there with him on his back bumper. They have not moved forward or backwards. We do see Joshua Benton there in position number 7 as Chris Muse in that Wrangler number 3 ride. He's now worked his way up into the 8th position. He started all the way back in, what is that, the 22nd spot on the speedway. So he's up 14 positions on the racetrack there for Chris Muse, and he has been working his way through the field. Now finally inside the top 10. We'll see if he can continue on trying to chase these guys down and race his way to the front of the field here at Darlington Raceway. It's Jamison Heath there in 9th. Austin Smith rounding out our top 10 here on the racetrack is Casey Gross there in 11th. Edward Belair back in 12th. Anthony Garland has fallen back here, unfortunately for that poor boy Motorsports number 81 ride. He's fallen all the way back into 13th. He's going to have the beautiful Shaw Landscaping number 22 ride on Nicholas Barton on his back bumper here in a quick hurry. Same with that beautiful Kellogg's Frosted Flakes number 5 ride of Brandon Puffenbarger, and I do believe that was a old school Bobby Labonte throwback paint scheme. I believe Labonte ran that Kellogg's Frosted Flakes number 5 ride, you know, back when he drove for Hendrick Motorsports. I believe that is a beautiful Bobby Labonte throwback paint scheme right there. It's looking cute out there on the racetrack as the 10 ride of Michael Wolf rolls there in 16th. Ryan Anderson back in position number 17. Obviously this DuPont ride, this is a Jeff Gordon throwback scheme out there on the speedway for the 44 ride. Gary Wright, Rob Tuwiscu, the 70 Machinamite Killing back in his Mark Martin Valvoline throwback paint scheme out there on the speedway. As it's always good to see these throwback schemes out there on the racetrack, and you see another one unfortunately falling a lap down out there on the racetrack, and that is the 37 in the Valvoline number 37 ride. Now, there's been a lot of drivers, a lot of legends that have ran that number 37, that beautiful Valvoline paint scheme here. So you gotta wonder, is that like an Alan Kowicki throwback paint scheme there with the Valvoline ride? I'm not sure. We may have to ask James, try to figure out, you know, if that is an Alan Kowicki or if that's going back even farther into some more of the other legends out there on the racing surface. But you do see all these drivers. I mean, we saw a couple quick caution flags, a couple issues out there on the racetrack, and now things have gotten a lot more cleaned up, a lot more you know, kind of calm, cool, and collected out there on the speedway. And now obviously we're starting to see more and more drivers either work their way down pit road or are falling back a lap down, as Evan Fuqua's a lap down, James Garland's a lap down. Now you see the heavy damage on the front end of that 37 ride. Now we did see obviously Wayne Garland a lap or 2 laps down. Rob Lowell and Jonathan Byram, looks like they both run into issues And it looks like they both may be done throughout this race. Let's take a look here. I'm not sure what's wrong with Byram's car, but here we go. He's going to send it into corner number 1, and it looks like he just tries to go to the high side. The 71 gets there and gets to his outside on corner entry. Just shoves it in there even farther than Jonathan Byram, and I believe Byram just kind of makes some contact there. I don't know if it's the 71 of Heath that gets into him or if he gets kind of up and into the 71 ride. Nonetheless, they make contact. More damage there for Heath. Austin Smith gets some damage out of it. And for the 54 ride, you're going to watch him pull right down into the infield here. And I feel he has some damage on that car. Obviously, he's just going to pull it right down into the back straightaway emergency services lane here. And unfortunately, I believe he's going to take it off the racetrack and out of this race. So that's a heartbreaker there for the number 54 ride. Obviously, that is not the ideal way you want this race to roll, and unfortunately we do see Rob Lowell as well. Has a lot of damage here. Looks like he'd gotten up into the outside fence or had ran into issues. We saw him slow on the apron here as, here we go, I think we're going to see it right here through corner number 3 and 4. He's going to jump up. He's going to get into that fence. He's going to earn his Darlington stripes, and unfortunately, it just kind of tears that right front apart here on the 21 ride, and I think he knows it. He knows that that car's got some solid right front damage, and unfortunately pulls it right down to the infield and takes it down behind pit wall, and I believe he is still down and off of pit road and not back out onto the racetrack, as we do see the caution flag fly. So our yellow flag gets displayed here again this afternoon for our third yellow of the evening. Now, I'm not 100% sure. This may be a caution flag for our stage break this afternoon. Is this our stage break? Lap 30 and 60. Yeah, so this is our stage break yellow flag. So for all these drivers, luckily enough, no one else got tore up. No one else kind of got destroyed out there on the speedway. This is a stage break, and obviously we saw Grant Humphrey out in front winning that stage. Colton Manich had jumped up into second. Johnny Barker had to settle for third in that stage, but you see Barker put on 4 tires. A little bit of a slower stop here. Let's see if we can play this back. This Grant Humphrey and Colton Manich go for 4 tires here? Or are they playing a little bit of a different strategy call? Because it doesn't look like any tires going on to this 48 ride. So this is definitely a bit of an interesting call. No tires there for him. I believe no tires for the 0-0 as well. Yeah, you don't see him get jacked up. I believe we're going to see Chris Muse as well making a very quick pit stop. Just comes down pit road, fuel only. He's going to gain a lot of track position, but now he's got to hope that his tires can hang on and keep himself up here, you know, in the fight. But obviously trying to save that extra set of tires for late in this race is a huge thing, is a big thing for each and every one of these drivers. Now, obviously, we have 125 laps. We're already 33 laps through this race. I believe for these drivers, they have 3 sets of tires back behind pit wall. 2 or 3 sets. We'll have to wait and see kind of how many these guys go through, but obviously tire wear may become a key aspect here at Darlington. It always is, and obviously here early on in this one, it's already kind of playing a role as our restart. Our top 4 did not take tires. Then we do see Barker and Mark Belair, Josh Bromfield, a lot of these drivers back here deeper through the field all took tires. So there's definitely some drivers that are going to be comers, some drivers that are going to be goers. It'll be very interesting to see how these older tires will kind of hang on and be able to keep on battling and see if they're even able to keep, you know, some decent track position throughout this second stage of the race. As this is going to be, as long as we don't see a lot of caution flags and everything else here, we'll see this next stage come to a close at lap number 60. So it's a whole lot shorter of a run, but we're going to see they pile up here again on this restart. Oh, brother. All right, so they pile in here again. Michael Wolf surrounding. You see Corey Crowell in the 20 ride right there with them. Let's take a look back and kind of see how this one gets started. As it looks like maybe it's Bromfield. No, it looks like maybe the 11 of Mark Belair. having a great run up inside the top 5 for most of the day. Restart back here in that 6th position, and it looks like, again, just another restart where you're kind of rolling out there on the racetrack. You build up maybe a little bit of debris onto the tires, and unfortunately, as you get rolling, you step on the throttle, and you find out that you have no traction. And then, obviously, you see the 12 ride of Bromfield drives into his left rear quarter panel, trying to get around the 11 ride, and then the 10 of Wolf is going to get into the 12 ride here, and then they all just kind of file into it here. The 69 into the 10 ride, and then all of a sudden nowhere to go for Ryan Anderson. Austin Smith, the 70, killing back. A lot of these drivers just really nowhere to go. See the 11, he ends up losing it again. He goes around there as well, and all these drivers end up with some pretty solid damage. Take a look at Casey Gross, able to get down low enough to avoid it there. Some solid contact here for all 5-6 drivers right there in that picture frame. Everyone else down low just trying to squeeze their way through it. And unfortunately, we do see the 20 go around, get a little piece of it. Now let's take a look at Bromfield. How much more damage does Josh get here as he's going to shoot down the racetrack? Ends up making some pretty solid right rear damage there as he backs it into that infield fence, but luckily enough, everyone else able to kind of get on by him, and he doesn't get collected by anybody else, so we'll have to wait and see how much that rear end damage will deal to the 12 ride, see if he can try to bounce back from it and try to get himself back into this race. As it's a heartbreaker, man. A lot of fast cats up towards the front of the field here, now running into those issues, but this is making that no tire pit stop maybe feel a little bit better here, especially when you look at Humphrey and Manage. They're still out in front now. Obviously, Johnny Barker was able to gain a couple spots there on that restart, so he's got them freshies. He's got them fresh tires. He'll be restarting in that 4th position, and you know, he's going to be looking to try to work his way to the point here as quickly as possible, knowing that he's got much better tires. He's got really good pace here out of that Rowdy Energy number 6 machine, and he'll be looking to try to put himself up and in to the winner's circle here this evening. As Grant Humphrey, though, out in front, we'll get ready for another big restart after a quick word from our sponsors over at RT3 Designs.
Tonight's racing action is brought to you by RT3 Design LLC. When it comes to designing your dream home, precision matters, just like it does on the racetrack. At RT3 Design, we specialize in custom residential design, construction drawings, and bringing your vision to life, from concept to blueprint. If you can dream it, we can design it. RT3 Design LLC, built on precision, designed for life. Tonight's racing action is brought to you by RT3 Design LLC. When it comes to designing your dream home, precision matters, just like it does on the racetrack. At RT3 Design, we specialize in custom residential design, construction drawings, and bringing your vision to life, from concept to blueprint. If you can dream it, we can design it. RT3 Design LLC, built on precision, designed for life.
Alrighty, here we go, back to Green Flag Racing. As quickly, the 48 ride of Grant Humphrey this time gets a great restart. And for the 48 machine, able to quickly get a good launch, pulls away from Colton Manage and Brandon Puffenbarger as they're all kind of, single file out there on the speedway. Things are looking very broken up here. Another restart where things kind of get a little bit crazy, a little bit out of control there, and obviously you see a lot of big gaps already out there on the racetrack, and we're only one lap into this restart, but already for these drivers like Grant Humphrey, I mean, you only got 21 laps left to go here until the end of stage number 2, so we're already getting closer and closer here to the end of that stage. Obviously, we ran a few laps there leading up to that first restart here for stage number 2, then that quick caution flag. You know, it could have really bounced out the tires here. It could have really worked into their favor, or at least as much as they were saving throughout that first run may have helped them out a ton here to try to survive here in this second run. But we'll see kind of as this race progresses. 20 more laps is still a lot of laps, a lot of time here for Johnny Barker. And some of these other drivers with the fresh tires to work their way up towards the front of the field here as Barker back in third. He does have 4 fresh tires compared to the 0 fresh tires for Grant Humphrey and Colton Manich, the 2 drivers right here in front of them. Brandon Puffenbarger, Chris Muse also on that no tire pit stop there throughout that first stage break of the day. Casey Gross, he's in the 6th position. Great comeback here for the 77 ride as Casey up 17 positions here on the speedway. Puffenbarger and Muse are also up 17 spots on the racetrack. So our 4th, 5th, and 6th place drivers all moving up. 17 positions on the racetrack is absolutely insane. Jamison Heath, he's up 12 spots back there in 7th. And we do see Devin Black, Joshua Benton back there in 9th. Mike Killingbeck, we saw him get tied up and tore up early on in this race. He was able to get that Valvoline ride fixed up, and he's battled his way now back inside the top 10. And for Killingbeck, he'll look to keep on marching forward here as he tries to reel in that number 69 ride out there on the speedway, man. It's some great racing, some great battles out there on the speedway. These guys keep on putting together just another immaculate show, another amazing race here, and man, it's been a lot of fun to watch these guys, week after week after week, just continue to do just unreal, just continue to keep on putting together just absolutely amazing racing action. And it's been a lot of fun. It's going to continue to be fun, and we can't wait to see who's going to be able to put themselves up here into victory lane this afternoon as everyone keeps on battling. Everyone's trying to work their way to the point, and as of right now, the 70 rider Mike Killingbeck, he's up into that 9th position as we do see Joshua Benton fall back into 11th. But out in front, it's all the must-love Poodles, number 48 ride Grant Humphrey out in front. He's once again leading that 6 of Johnny Barker. Barker able to make quick work there of the 0-0 of Colton Manich. Manich obviously on that no-tire pit stop, same with that 5 ride and the number 3 machine of Chris Muse. It looks like they're maybe struggling a little bit more here early on compared to that 48 of Grant Humphrey. So maybe Humphrey just doing a little bit better of a job trying to save tires there throughout that initial run. But we'll have to wait and see. Maybe he bounces back, maybe he finds that extra gear, maybe jumps up here and, just starts to pull away maybe. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see because obviously the fresh tires back behind him, I mean, they're going to be tough to beat. It's going to be hard to hold them off, especially for another 14 laps here in this second stage of the day. But you just never quite know. You just never know if that is going to be the case because a lot of times it kind of is. I mean, maybe just a clean air and having older tires will be enough, and just putting dirty air onto the nose of the 6 run at Johnny Barker may be enough to keep that 6 back there at bay as Barker, oh baby, gets very loose out of corner number 4 right there. Oh, man, he almost took himself right out of this race. As here we go, out of corner 4. Loose washes down the racetrack. Luckily enough, able to catch it, able to keep it rolling in the right direction, but does end up losing about 0.7 of a second to that 48 ride of Grant Humphrey, and that's going to heat up his right rear tire. That's going to make things that much tougher for the number 48, or for the number 6 ride to try to hunt down this 48 machine, as Grant Humphrey looking for the sweep here in our stages, was able to win stage number 1. He's hoping to try to win stage number 2 here this evening as Brandon Puffenbarger back in 3rd. Chris Muse there in 4th. Unfortunately, Manich, he's definitely fallen back here. Unfortunately, it looks like the 0-0 struggled a lot more than some of these other drivers, and he now finds himself all the way back here in position number 5, and you do see Casey Gross, Jamison Heath, the 7 of Devin Black back there in 8th. Gary Wright, he's now up into 12th as Josh Bromfield has worked his way back up inside the top 10, sliding Mike Killingbeck. Joshua Benton outside the top 10 now on the speedway as Corey Crowell up and into the 13th position here. He's able to work his way around that 22 ride, but Nicholas Barton says, I'm not done yet. I'm going to try to battle back. I'm going to try to make some moves, and put myself right back into maybe the driver's seat here of this feature event. But right now, they are continuing to battle. It looks like the 20 ride is able to make that pass, and now quickly goes after the 69 ride, as it looks like Joshua Benton starting to fall apart here. We're starting to see those tires really fall off for a few of these cats out there on the speedway, especially for some that are on that different tire strategy. Definitely running into issues out there on the speedway, and man, it is going to be tough sailing here for a little while for some of these guys. When you look at Colt Manich, when you look at that 69 rider Joshua Benton, maybe even killing back a few of these other drivers that may continue to keep on sliding out there on the speedway, they just got to hope that they can keep themselves on the lead lap and not falling a lap down out there on the racetrack and putting themselves, too far behind the 8-ball out there on the speedway. But for right now, it is Grant Humphrey going to click off lap number 52 here, and that means, he's only got 8 laps left to go to sweep these stages, and unfortunately for Barker, still hasn't been able to not only catch up to the back bumper of the 48 ride. It's one thing to catch him, it's another thing to try to figure out your way to get around him, and it looks like for Johnny Barker, he's going to get there, but you got to hope that your tires are good, that your tires are smooth enough that they can, work yourself, to the point and out in front of the field and, maybe into that race lead. But obviously the 48 ride's not just going to pull over and give it up easily out there on the speedway. He's going to continue to fight for it tooth and nail, and it's going to come right down to probably the closing laps to see who ends up making that move, who ends up putting themselves into the position try to jump in there and try to make that move and obviously put themselves into a spot where they can jump up excuse me, and obviously now he's taking the lead here. So there we go. Doesn't take him long. Didn't seem like Grant Humphrey. I mean, by the time that 6 ride finally caught back up to him, I mean, that may have been Barker's idea the whole time, just kind of waiting patiently, sitting back behind the 48 ride. Obviously, in these closing laps, able to, just drive right up to him, make that move around him. Unfortunately for the Must Love Poodles number 48 ride, really had nothing left in the tank here as his tires are falling off and continuing to lose time here. Obviously, the 4 tires on that 6 ride going to work out well for Johnny Barker to win this stage, but for Grant Humphrey, I mean, he's still got 1.7 seconds between himself and Puffin Barker, another 1.5 between himself and the 3 ride of Muse. A little farther back, you do see that 71 of Jamison Heath in our top 5 now out on the racetrack. So with the laps closing down, and it'll be 4 laps left to go in this stage, the next time by the start finish line, if he can hang on here to a second place run and come home with second place and not use up a set of tires here throughout this second stage, that could really put him into a golden opportunity late in this race. Obviously having that extra set of tires, but obviously still being able to kind of get some really good solid stage points here as well throughout this second stage of the afternoon. So it's all working out for the 48 ride, and obviously now a little bit of lap traffic. He's actually caught back up to that number 6 machine, so maybe he's got something left in the tank for it. Maybe he's not done yet with Johnny Barker, as unfortunately you do see Anthony Garland, Rob Tuwiscu, they both fall a lap down out there on the racetrack. Wayne Garland, Michael Wolf, a couple laps down out there on the speedway. Ryan Anderson, he's a couple laps down there. Same with James Garland. We did see Evan Fuqua, he's down pit side of the AC Delco ride. Looks like Austin Smith, Rob Lowell, and Jonathan Byram have taken their rides back down behind pit wall and currently out of this race. But out in front is Johnny Barker. Johnny has got the race lead. He sits at the point. He's looking to just stay right there out in front, wanting to put himself into victory lane here this evening. And we'll have to wait and see if he can get it done, if he can find that winner's circle here this evening. It could be very easy for him. It could be very tough. We'll have to wait and see if he's able to get it done, but it's going to be a lot easier said than done for, obviously, Barker. He's got a lot of fast cats, a lot of great drivers back there behind him that are going to be looking to try to continue to hunt him down, to continue to try to reel him in and make their move to get around him and steal this top spot. But here on the final lap of our second stage, Barker can at least count on some stage points. Is down through 3 and out of 4, Johnny Barker will pick up our second stage win of the day. So Barker with the second stage win after, I believe, coming home third in stage number 1. He's able to win our second stage of the evening. Grant Humphrey, our stage 1 winner, ends up second here in this stage, but did not use a set of tires. Johnny Barker did throw 4 fresh tires on during that first stage break, and we saw Grant Humphrey, Puffenbarger, Chris Muse, the 0-0 Colt, and manage a few others that took no tires. For some of them, it worked out all right. Obviously, for Humphrey, it did. But for drivers like Manich, obviously fell back a bunch, but still getting some decent stage points there as he came across the line in 7th. You look at Devin Black there in 8th. Bromfield, Corey Crowell, our top 10 out there on the speedway. So there was a lot of drivers that moved forward, a lot of drivers that fell back, and obviously a lot more drivers that have now fallen, unfortunately, a lap down. And luckily enough for the number 81 ride of Anthony Garland, I believe Anthony is still the first driver 1 lap down, so he should get the lucky dog. The free pass back on the lead lap there. Great break there for Anthony Garland to at least get back into the action. He'll be the 18th place driver, and we'll only have 18 cars still on the lead lap here unless we see, a few more drivers try to make some different calls, some different strategy to work into their favor. But as of right now, for Johnny Barker, Grant Humphrey, it's been the 6 and 48 ride all evening long as we'll get ready to rumble here for our third stage of the day. We'll get a quick word in from our sponsors over at Must Love Poodles.
Who are we? We are Must Love Poodles. Where poodles aren't just dogs, they're family. We are a very small in-home breeder of AKC miniature and small standard poodles, where our motto is quality over quantity. Where every litter is thoughtfully and intentionally bred, and we know that the best puppies come from great parents. And that's why we test every single parent dog for all genetic and orthopedic related issues. But we don't stop there. We also take our dogs to AKC events and make sure they get titles to prove that they have great temperaments. Every puppy is hand-raised in our home and well socialized. We also utilize puppy curriculum and early training methods, which make our puppies a snap to train. They're very eager and human-focused. Every puppy is also temperament tested, which helps us match the puppy to the right home. At Must Love Poodles, we can't promise you the perfect puppy, but we do promise that we will do our very best to prepare your puppy for its future. If you're looking to add a smart, sociable, and highly trainable dog, and you want a breeder that will be there for you before, during, and after, come on over to www.mustlovepoodles.com or follow us on our Facebook page. We'll see you there.
Alrighty, after a good wave of, Stage 2 pit stops for each and every one of these drivers, this is going to give them an opportunity here, another restart, another stack up of all these drivers to try to work themselves into what could be the winning strategy or the winning moves here to put themselves into potentially the winner circle. Unfortunately, it looked like some issues on that pit stop for the 6th ride of Johnny Barker, and it looks like Barker, he's going to go to the rear of the field here for the 6th machine, and unfortunately, that's going to slide him all the way back into about the 13th spot on the speedway. So a pit road mistake there out of that 6th ride. Going to put him behind the 8 ball here. For the rest of this race is out in front, Grant Humphrey reconcedes the race lead with the mistake out of the 6th ride. So Humphrey, now with some fresh tires, he's going to be ready to rock and roll and down through that Sunoco restart zone. Oh, no, never mind. Looks like we're going to get a extra lap added on here. Extra lap added on. So we're going to see the pace car actually roll back out here in front of these guys. Hopefully this won't take another lap or two. Hopefully it'll be a fairly quick one to get our pace car back out there onto the racetrack, as I haven't seen the pace car pull out as of yet. Oh, there he is. All right, so our pace car is working his way forward here, getting back to the front of the field now. It'll be interesting to see if this is still going to be one to go. We do see the lights are turned off, the official iRacing pace car, so he's going to get back out in front. The 48 ride, the rest of the field will get stacked up, racked up, and ready to try this all over again. And now we get ready for what will be another big restart out there on the speedway. And for Grant Humphrey, I mean, hopefully he didn't give up too many secrets right there. Didn't really seem like he took a big launch or anything else, as he kind of just stayed level there with that 3 ride through that restart zone. Didn't give any kind of hint on when he's going to fire as our control car here for the restart. Grant Humphrey going to try to get a big launch, try to slide up, clear that 3 ride, and take control of this race for the last, 60 laps of this feature event. As here we go down through that Sunoco restart zone. Green flag is in the air, and for Humphrey, the restart that he needed quickly. Pulls out in front, slides up in front of the 3 ride, gets to that outside groove, able to find that speed, that momentum, and now trying to pull away from Mr. Muse here late in this race. But here comes Jamison Heath. Heath making some quick moves here. He's looked really, really strong throughout this race. Now he's ran into some issues. He's had some problems. He's got some damage onto that tied ride, but that damage has been repaired. He's got the track position. Does he have the tires, and does he have the drive to potentially jump up and steal this win away from the 48 of Grant Humphrey here this evening? As Jamison Heath, Chris Muse now second and third out there on the racetrack. Brandon Puffenbarger, he's there in fourth with Colton Manage rounding out our top 5. Casey Gross, Mike Killingbeck, the 12 of Josh Bromfield, the 69 of Joshua Benton, and the 22 of Nicholas Barton rounding out our top 10 out there on the speedway. As we're going to jump into a quick Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. What we want you guys to do right now is crank up that volume and cheer on your favorite drivers as we crank it up here on Peacemaker Gaming. Alrighty, well, we get another caution flag as that will bring a close to our Peacemaker Gaming Crank It Up here this evening. Shout out to all these drivers giving us the sights and sounds around Darlington Raceway. As the caution flag is upon us, we'll take a look back and see what happens, what brings out the caution flag again here this evening, as I believe we're going to see Edward Belair run into some issues here. The 25 ride having some problems. He's battling here with the 12 of Josh Bromfield, and it looks like he just gets tight, pushes up the racetrack out of quarter number 2, and as he does, he ends up clipping this 12 ride. Unfortunately for Bromfield, he's just kind of an innocent bystander in this. They end up getting tied together. The 12 goes around, the 25 down to the infield fence. Obviously some pretty solid damage for both drivers, and you can see the damage already on the 25 ride. So you gotta wonder if maybe that damage may be affecting that Detroit Lions MMG ride. As you can see, he was off the pace. He was unfortunately already a lap or multiple laps down out there on the racetrack, and Bromfield was inside our top 10, and unfortunately wrong place, wrong time for him as he gets clipped. He gets, quite a bit of rear end damage as he gets into the outside fence. He makes the contact with the 25, goes for that slide, and that brings out another caution flag here on the evening, which is going to be a really interesting one because we do see some drivers elected to come down pit road, other drivers electing not to come down pit side here. So that's going to make things very, very interesting, especially for some of these guys that may have taken tires here. Let's see if we can go back even, do these pit stops, because I don't know, man. This is going to be interesting to see, if any of these guys decided to maybe take tires, maybe make that, different pit strategy call here and do something completely different. It's like, look here. Okay, so the 3 ride, 5 ride, they're down pit side. There you go. You see tires going on to that Good Wrench Services number 3 machine of Chris Muse. So Muse getting 4 tires here. We saw Brandon Puffenparker down there as well. He gets 4 tires. And it looks like our top 5 all stay out here. They do not come down pit road. Everyone else comes down pit side, gets tires, gets fuel. They all get ready to rock and roll and ready to rumble here again this afternoon. So that's going to make things very, very fun. Very interesting to see because for Jamison Heath, he'll have control. Grant Humphrey will be there in second. Johnny Barker and the 69 ride of Joshua Benton bring up row number 2. Nicholas Barton, our 5th driver that did not come down pit road throughout this caution flag. He'll restart there in that 5th position. To his outside will be that first driver with fresh tires, the number 3 of Chris Muse. How quickly will we see Muse, Chris Wolford, Brandon Puffenbarger, Corey Crowell, and the rest of this field? Will they just be able to steamroll right on past these drivers out in front of them that are on the older tire strategy, or will the tires kind of balance out here nicely? As here we go. Green flag is out. Big restart there for Jamison Heath. Not a good restart for the 48 ride. Play that back again. We've seen this time and time again for Grant Humphrey. He gets... All right, well, I'm going to say we may have even seen the 71 ride go a little early right here too, chat. Our race leader, it's his prerogative on when he wants to go, when he wants to fire off, but it is through that Geico restart zone or the Sunoco restart zone. And right here, you can see him get on the throttle. You see him get a little bit sideways, a little bit loose. He actually ends up getting into the outside fence there a little bit. So that was a jumped start out of our race leader. He's gone 3, 4, 5 car lengths prior to that restart zone, and I think that's why the 48 ride doesn't really get going. The 6 ride does of Johnny Barker, and he does right around the 48 ride, and potentially some penalties here for a couple of these drivers. We'll have to wait and see if those, if those happen, if they do get some penalties out there for jumping that restart right there, at least for our race leader, Jamison Heath, as he was able to jump out in front, get a big launch. He's got over a second gap now between himself and Johnny Barker. Barker able to move right on up into second here. Humphrey settles into third with Chris Muse back there in fourth. We got to wonder how quickly these fresh tires are going to be able to work into his favor to race him up to the front of the field here this afternoon. It's Joshua Benton there in fifth. Nicholas Barton back in sixth. We do see Brandon Puffenbarger, Colton Manage, Chris Wolford, Corey Crowell there in that 10th position. And now, even with, kind of seeing how these older tires can hold up pretty nicely out there on the speedway, you got to wonder if we do see another late race caution flag. Obviously, we're going to have to see all 5 drivers that did not come down pit road right there have to make another, pit stop here this afternoon. They're going to have to come down pit road and at least make a stop for fuel here, probably in the next, I don't even know, probably the next 5 to 10 laps. They're going to have to head down pit side and make a pit stop here this evening. So they're going to be banking on that caution flag, another one to come out here sooner rather than later. And then obviously, where does that put the other drivers as well? They were down pit side on lap number 81. I think that's still going to leave them probably about 10 laps, 15 laps shy. Probably being able to make it to the checkered flag here, pitting there on lap 81. That's going to be, a pretty sizable gap. But we do see the caution flag come back out. Oh, baby. Okay, so this may work out nicely for Heath, Barker, Grant Humphrey. I mean, I think they probably wanted another couple laps, but I don't know how close they were to probably seeing green flag pit stops for themselves. But we do see, looks like the 81 of Anthony Garland and the 51 of Chris Wolf are going to get tied together here. Well, Anthony gets a good run, drives down to the inside of the 51 right now. I'm not sure if there was, who kind of comes up, who kind of goes down nonetheless here. Let's take a look at it. So there you go. You see the 81 jump to the outside, and it just looks like he doesn't get all the way to the outside of the 51 and ends up just getting into that left rear of the 51 ride, and that virtually just hooks him, turns him sideways, and for the Smoky Ridge Racing ride, goes for a slide right up the racetrack and right into the lap of Casey Gross, man. Casey just nowhere for him to go. And then we're going to see a few more drivers get piled into this as well. As Casey sees it, he's trying to get checked up. There's the 11 into his back bumper. Then he drives into the 51 who watches up into him. And as the 11 rider, Mark Belair, as he kind of goes around here now, he sees it. He's trying to get on the throttle to avoid it. Unfortunately, couldn't get checked up in time. You see the 44 of Ryan Anderson. He's going to get tied up into it as well. He ends up with some pretty solid damage there, and unfortunately, that's going to set him back quite a ways here as well. So a few more drivers getting tore up here. A lot of carnage down there on the racetrack. Actually, see the 25 ride in this as well. When does the 25 ride of Mark Belair, or of Edward Belair, get into this one? Edward Belair was quite a ways back behind these guys. He's coming in way later, and he just carries a lot of speed, then drives right through the 44. Ryan Anderson, man, big hit right there for the 25. That may be the end of his night here. There may be a few drivers that may be unfortunately getting DNFs here this evening, but we do see a slew of pit stops. We saw Anthony Garland coming back down pit side, same with Chris Muse, Grant Humphrey. He's making an additional pit stop here as well, trying to make sure they got enough fuel into their race cars. Chris Wolford still down pit side. Gary Wright's making his way back down there, but Edward Belair looks like he may have already used up that quick repair. He may be down pit side for the rest of the night. Same with Ryan Anderson in that 44 ride. Rob Tuwisku scored back in 22nd, may be able to gain at least a couple more spots here. Unfortunately, he's a lot of laps down out there on the racetrack, but if a few more drivers exit this race, at least maybe a couple extra points into his back pocket. Same with the AC Delco number 75 ride of Evan Fuqua. James Garland down pit road, looks like he's going to be down and out for the rest of this race, as Austin Smith, Rob Lowell, and Jonathan Byram have all called it an early night here at the Speedway, as we start with 27 drivers, and by the looks of it, we may have 6 or 7 of them that are going to be down pit side here for the rest of today's feature event. Now, we did see one driver stay out here that stayed out since our second stage break, the 69 ride of Joshua Benton. He stays out again. This is a really, really interesting call. Obviously, we saw pretty much everybody down pit road there on lap 81. Then we saw everyone kind of back down pit road there on lap 89. Joshua Benton, though, has not been back down pit side since lap number 62. He's got much older tires, and unfortunately, He's not going to have much for these guys at the front of the pack. Is Brandon Puffenbarger, Corey Crowell, Colton Manich going to work their way right on by him as there goes that Schenko Custom Diecast 0-0 ride back up into third. Joshua Benting goes from first all the way back to fourth, and now he's got to be very, very cautious because, man, if we see another caution flag, it could work into his favor, but if it stays clean and green here for an extended period of time and he's got to make a green flag pit stop, it could put him deep into this field and way behind the 8 balls. We did just watch the 6th ride of Johnny Barker and the 71 of Jameson Heath both get up into the outside fence there. Both end up getting some extra damage onto their race cars, but we did see some drivers like Chris Muse, Anthony Garland, Grant Humphrey come back down pit road on lap number 90. They made that additional 1-lap pit stop here. You got to wonder if that's for fuel. I wonder if they think, hey, if this stays clean and green, maybe the fuel mileage game plan will work into their favor. So it seems like for Grant Humphrey and a few other drivers, that's what they're going to be trying to do as the caution flag does come back out. Oh no, it's the driver that needed to make a pit stop that was on those older tires, and unfortunately here, looks like he may finally just get ran over as he was falling back. Obviously, those older tires not being able to keep up with the new tires back behind him. Looks like he's going to start washing up the racetrack. The 6th ride down to his inside. And let's see if there's contact. Okay, there it is. So it looks like he pushes up the corner of exit number 4 right there, and unfortunately as he moves up, he bounces off that left rear of the 7 right at Devin Black. Devin, just innocent bystander right there, gets clipped. He goes around as well. Both drivers slide down. Both end up getting some pretty solid contact there into the infield. Safer barrier, and oh, Devin Black gets absolutely cleaned out. Oh, man, I believe that was the number 75 of Evan Fuqua in the AC Delco ride. Who comes in here and just, unfortunately, tees him up and sends him for a ride there down the front straightaway and across the start-finish line. That's going to bring a lot of damage there for the 75. Obviously, a lot of damage as well for Devin Black. Let's see if we can jump on board here with Fuqua. I feel like he had quite a bit of time here and must have just misjudged on where he wanted to be out on the speedway to avoid running through that 7 ride. As you see the 7 kind of bouncing off the fence, and unfortunately for Fuqua, couldn't get her checked up in time. I mean, man, it's so easy just to, roll out of the throttle. You see him kind of still on the throttle there, running that, middle area. He's kind of right around that same throttle all the way through this 4th corner and down the front straightaway. But right here, you see the 2 cars spinning sideways. I mean, even moves down the racetrack more onto the apron here. And unfortunately, you just got to imagine these cars are going to bounce in front of you and staying in the throttle. If you would have, rolled out of the throttle, maybe even got onto the brakes a little earlier, probably would have been able to check up and avoid any of this mishap. Unfortunately, that's going to put him and that 7 ride of Devin Black into a very, very difficult position throughout the rest of this race, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. Now, we did see Puffenbarger, Nicholas Barton, Devin Black obviously down pit road getting that car repaired, and everything else is killing back. Chris Muse, Anthony Garland, all down pit road right there, making that additional pit stop. Now, Grant Humphrey did not come down pit road, but you got to imagine that this extra caution flag may work a little bit into their favor here. That extra yellow flag may bring, obviously, a little bit more fuel savings, maybe get him a little closer to his number where maybe he'll be good on fuel to the end of this race. But you got to wonder if potentially, if he's still got to save a little bit, how that will affect his ride late in this race and allowing drivers that may not have to save fuel, like Nicholas Barton, like Puffenbarger and Devin Black, Chris Muse, and if they're able to stay in their throttle and keep on rolling to the front here and not having to save for themselves, it may put them into a bit of a winning position. Or if we start to go to NASCAR overtime for some of these drivers like Crowell, Manich, Bromfield, Heath, Garland, Barker, that number 48 of Grant Humphrey and the 11 of Mark Belair, all may have to make an additional pit stop here, especially if we start to head into one or two of the NASCAR overtimes here this evening, as we'll get them all ready to roll, ready to rumble here. Is down and out of corner number 4. 20 rider Corey Crowell gets a great launch and a great jump right there. Again, I'm gonna have to go through the rule books. I wonder if they're allowed to jump anytime after the pace car works its way down pit side. Once it hits pit road, they may be able to go. So you see, obviously the pace car is down pit side. The 20 ride ready to rock and roll, ready to get going here. And you're going to see it right here again. He's going. He's on the throttle. He's getting that jump that he's looking for. And again, that's another driver that's got the race lead and really getting into the throttle. A long time before that Sunoco restarts on. So it must be kind of off the, race leader's prerogative, not the restart zone here. And obviously it's working out well for Corey Crowell. Worked out well earlier for the 6th rider Johnny Barker. But we are going to see more drivers run into issues, as I believe we're going to see Rob Tuwisku down the back straightaway here. That Boeing back straightaway. He's going to run into some problems here as the 8 ride. See if he gets a little help right here. Okay, so it looks like the 3 of Chris Muse gets into the 81 ride as him and Anthony Garland get tied together. Garland gets sideways. They start to check up, and here comes the 8 ride. Ends up driving into them. All 3 of them end up with some pretty solid damage, but for the 8 machine, he's the only one that goes around and ends up going the wrong direction down in the infield, and now we will see the caution flag come back out. So it didn't last long, and it looks like it's going to be the 48 of Grant Humphrey. Oh, no, man. Humphrey just trying to stick with it, trying to battle his way back to the front of the field here, playing some different strategy, and obviously not wanting to leave corner number 2 to door with the 84 of Wayne Garland, and it still doesn't quite work out into his favor as Wayne's just ran into a couple problems here this evening. But you see the big run he gets rolling the outside groove, and I think for the 84 or 48, he thinks that the 84 maybe would give him that spot. Obviously, I believe for the 84 ride, he's still on the lead lap. He's still very much in this battle, and unfortunately just pushes up too high, trying to carry all that exit speed, trying to clear the 48 ride, and obviously trying to keep Grant Humphrey back there at bay. For Wayne Garland, just drives it hard down through corner number 2, and the car just carrying too much speed, washes up into the outside fence. And then Grant Humphrey kind of nowhere to go as the 84 lose all that speed momentum. They get tied together. They bounce off each other a couple times, and all of a sudden for Grant Humphrey, around into the lap there of Mark Belair, back down the racetrack, and luckily enough doesn't make any more contact there with any other drivers or the infield fence. So minimal damage at least for the 48 ride, but still some pretty solid contact. You do see that right rear absolutely tore up here on this race car. See that toe link is absolutely busted. The thing is absolutely just pointing the wrong direction, not even spinning up in the air. Unfortunately, that right rear damage is going to have to probably force him to either use a quick repair up or hope that the crew can get that fixed up in time for this next restart, as we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing in just a little bit. As Joshua Neal says, once pace car exit, leader can go anytime. Okay, perfect. That's good to know. I thought maybe they were getting a little bit of an extra jump there, but obviously these guys could go way earlier. Is pit road technically past the wall, or is pit road more at the entry? Because you take a look here, you can get a good look at it right there. That white line down on the bottom of corner number 4, that's technically the pit road entry. Pit road wall is quite a ways forward, so these drivers on their restarts could get, theoretically, a much bigger restart here and really get back on the throttle, you know, midway through quarter number 4 out there on the racetrack. Maybe that's something that Corey Crowell, or our race leader late in this race, can use into their favor, into their advantage here to try to get even bigger of a jump, a bigger advantage, and use to their favor to try and pick up a big win here this evening, as we're down within our final 25 laps of racing action here as we get ready to go back to green flag racing. They will complete lap 104, putting us at 21 laps left to go here in this one, man. 21 more laps left to duke it out here today, man. So that should be a lot of fun. That's gonna be really, really interesting to see, because for each and every one of these drivers, it's gonna be a shootout, chat. It's gonna be a shootout, as there's a lot of drivers that I think were close on fuel. I think these yellow flags have helped them out, but look out, Corey Crowell's around. Oh, they're going to pile up here on the front straightaway. Our race leader makes a mistake here on the restart, and oh, brother. This is not what you wanted to see. If you were Corey Crowell, if you're Colton Manich or Barker out there on the racetrack, is unfortunately they are all going to run into some problems here. And for their team, the Middle Finger Motorsports, I mean, that's not going to work out too well for those drivers, as you're going to watch Corey Crowell with this restart able to get a pretty solid launch, but then spins the tires, washes up into the fence, bounces back down the racetrack, and not only takes himself out, but also takes out his teammate, the 0-0 of Colton Manich, as Manich just trying to get down low, trying to avoid the 20, and unfortunately, he gets tied up in it. The 6th ride of Devin Barker, or of Johnny Barker, he gets into it as well there. You see Barker in it with some pretty solid damage. Then he goes around in for Barker, and he's right in the middle of the racing surface here. It's going to be very, very lucky if everyone's able to avoid him, and it looks like for the most part everyone does avoid running into him, but still a little bit more damage there for that 6 machine. Obviously damage for Corey Crowell and that 0-0 ride of Colton Manich, and obviously now for Crowell and Manich, you know, they give up that race lead. They were out in front of the field. They were sitting pretty here with 21 laps left to go and looking good for, potentially a 1-2 run, or at least a win here for the Middle Finger Motorsports team. And now all of a sudden they're going to be back there playing catch up, trying to rebound and get themselves back into the fight here this evening. Now for, I believe, Grant Humphrey. Grant Humphrey did go a lap down, but so didn't the 3 machine of Chris Muse. I believe Muse gets the lucky dog here, so Muse back on the lead lap. That's a great break there for the 3 machine of Chris Muse, as he was in that lucky dog position. He'll get back on the lead lap for Grant Humphrey. He has still scored a lap down out there on the speedway, so for Mr. Humphrey, he's going to need to see another quick caution flag to try to get himself right back into this battle, right back into the hunt here at the front. And obviously not the way he wanted this final stage to go. Has not really worked out too well into his favor, but we'll see if he can make some moves here and obviously get some lucky breaks with another caution flag and get himself right back into the battle out there on the speedway. But for Jamison Heath, he'll say thank you very much. He ends up with the race lead. Another Middle Finger Motorsports ride, the 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger. He was able to avoid that contact there on the restart, able to keep himself pointing the right direction. And for Brandon Puffenbarger, he'll restart here in 2nd. Josh Bromfield up into 3rd. Mike Killing back there in 4th. Mark Belair back up inside the top 5 here. Great run going again here for the Sport Clips progressive number 11 of Belair, as he'll get ready for a big restart here in this one. Nicholas Barton, Joshua Benton, Devin Black, Michael Wolf, and Anthony Garland rounding out our top 10, ready to see that green flag fly, ready to go back to battle here in this one. We'll see who's going to be able to mark themselves up here into the track that's too tough to tame, Victory Lane, here this evening. As out in front, Heath going to get ready for this restart. Lights are off, the official iRacing pace car. So lights are off here. And for Jameson Heath, it's his prerogative. When does he want to go? Now, we've seen him out in front. He spun the tires early in this race as well, put himself into the fence and into a bad spot out there on the racetrack. This time, though, much better restart there for the Tide 71. It's a great launch, great restart, able to get off cleanly and able to keep himself pointing the right direction as he opens up already half a second gap between himself and Brandon Puffenbarger. Bromfield killing back Mark Belair there, rounding out our top 5 as we are back to battle, man. It's going to be interesting to see drivers like Chris Muse, like Corey Crowell, Colton Manich, Johnny Barker. Will they be able to work their way back up through the field, back up towards the front of the pack here, and potentially put themselves into still a very solid finish here this evening? It's going to be a tough road ahead. Going to have to make a lot of passes. Going to really have to try to find their way to the point here in this one, but for right now, it's Jamison Heath out in front, and Heath will exit down through corner number 3 and out of corner number 4, back down across the line. He will complete lap 110, meaning only 15 more laps left to go here in this one. 15 more laps left to duke it out here at Darlington Raceway as Jamison Heath continues to lead the way. He is out in front. He's feeling A-okay, and he is trying to pull away here. But Puffenbarger, he saw his teammates get tied up, tore up, and unfortunately out of, potential race win here this afternoon during that last restart. So for Brandon Puffenbarger, he'll be looking to try to make up for their mistake here. See if he can chase down the 71 and still put the Middle Finger Motorsports team up and into victory lane here this evening. But for Heath, he's just doing a fantastic job, man. That clean air out in front. No better place to be here late in this race, trying to make sure that he can keep, obviously some of these other stronger cars maybe back there behind him. The clean air on his nose, the dirty air that he can kind of dump onto the 5 ride. It's one thing for Puffenbarger to be able to catch the 71. It's a whole different thing to be able to take that race lead from him, man. In these closing laps, Heath is not just going to pull over and let him take it. He's going to battle as hard as he can to try to keep that 5 ride and the rest of the field back there at bay. But bringing into the question here, if we do see maybe another late race restart, a little NASCAR overtime here this evening, fuel could become an issue here for drivers like Heath, Puffenbarger, Bromfield, even Mark Belair back there in that 5th position. Even Michael Wolf back there, Johnny Barker, they were all last down pit side back on lap number 89. So that could really put them a little bit farther behind the 8 ball and a little bit back even tighter on fuel. Fuel could also get pretty tight here for obviously Puffenbarger and a lot of these other drivers like Devin Black, Nicholas Barton, who were last down pit road on lap 96. So you got to hope that through those yellow flags, throughout those caution laps, you were able to save enough fuel that you kind of give yourself enough of a break that you don't have to save here late in the race, and that if we do go to 1 or 2 or maybe even into our 3rd NASCAR restart and NASCAR overtime, that you got enough fuel in the tank that you can make it that far, you can make it that distance to trying to still put yourself into the winner's circle as nice and easy. Down and out of corner number 4 for Jamison Heath. He'll complete lap 115, and it is only 10 more laps left to go here from the Lady in Black Darlington Raceway. Heath out in front. He'll look to try to put himself into victory lane as he's still got about 0.6 of a second between himself and Brandon Puffenbarger. Josh Bromfield, he's another second back there in position number 3. And then there's a huge gap here separating our top 3 to our 4th place driver, over 3 seconds back. You do see our 4th place driver, Mike Killingback, a little farther back. You see that 11 ride of Mark Belair. Unfortunately for the 48 ride, you see Mr. Grant Humphrey battling his way back up into what could be a top 5 run. Unfortunately, though, that caution that he got tied up on, he ended up going a lap down. He has still scored a lap down, but if we do see a late race caution flag, obviously showing that he's still got some great speed in that 48 ride. Just needs that wave around, needs that late race restart to kind of get himself back into the battle. But for right now, it is just not playing out into his favor. But it is playing out perfectly here for Jamison Heath. Alrighty, as Jameson continues to lead the way here in the INTEC 300. Huge shout out there to INTEC coming on board to be our sponsor here this evening at the Darlington Raceway. Huge shout out there to INTEC and being the race sponsor here for this feature event, man. Huge shout out to them. I wish I wasn't sick and I could put even more emphasis and more energy and everything else into the race. We're trying our best. It is killing us slowly. We still have another 75% NASCAR race later this afternoon as well, so I also got to try to save a little bit of energy, a little bit of voice for that later on this evening as well. But we do see the caution flag come out, and this is what we talked about: late race restarts. Oh baby, things are gonna get wild here in a quick hurry, as we're gonna see, I believe it's a Michael Wolf in the 10 ride going to run into some issues here. So Wolf back a little deeper in the field, really no one around him, and it looks like gets loose out of corner number 2, tries to save it over, corrects, ends up going around, hard contact into that Boeing back straightaway. And obviously locked there down, sideways, stopped there on the racetrack. Caution flag does come out, and that late race caution flag we talked about, the late race restarts, they are on the horizon here for each and every one of these drivers. And now for Grant Humphrey, he's sitting in a golden opportunity because he's going to get that wave around back on the lead lap here for the 48 ride. And for Grant Humphrey, even for some of these other drivers, man, if you got an extra set of tires back down behind pit wall, you may want to use them. You may want to abuse them here in this short run to the checkered flag and see if they can work you into victory lane. I don't know if anyone's got tires left, but it's going to be interesting to see if somebody does have that extra gamble card in their back pocket. As you see the 10 ride work his way down pit road, they're going to get some repairs. They're going to try to get that Smoky Ridge racing ride repaired, and there you go. You do see tires going on to this 10 machine, so I'm not sure if this is a pair of scuffs or if this is maybe a new set of tires for Michael Wolf. But if it is a new set of tires, if he was able to save a set, could put him into a really good position late in this race. As Grant Humphrey gets the wave around, gets the free pass, he's back on the lead lap. He'll be one of 15 drivers still on the lead lap here this evening, and we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, ready to go back to green flag racing. As Jameson Heath did not want to see that caution flag. He wanted to see this stay clean and green. Did not want to see these drivers get back to his rear bumper here and give them another shot, another opportunity on this restart, or even for himself or some of these other drivers to make a mistake on the restart and put themselves into a very difficult position here throughout this race. As we'll get them all stacked up, racked up, and ready to go back to green flag racing. And if you guys are just tuning in and you haven't already, make sure you guys do us a favor, man. Make sure you guys hit the like button on the stream for us right now. Hit that subscribe button. Become part of the Peacemaker family here today as we get ready to set them back loose for what could be our final restart of the evening. Now, this will not be a NASCAR overtime. This will be a 3-lap shootout, as we will complete lap number 122 on this restart. So they're going to have 2 laps to try to work themselves back around here and into what could be a winning position. As Robert Wooten, Robert, welcome to the Peacemaker family. Robert coming in, hitting that subscribe button, becoming a brand new member here of the Peacemaker family here today. Robert, I wish I could bring you even better, even crazier announcing here this afternoon. I've been sick though all weekend. I have been down and out. My voice is gone. I am shot, and I'm just trying to keep up and bring you guys the best show that we can here this evening. You know, they talk about Michael Jordan's flu game. Well, I think this is my flu broadcast here this afternoon and throughout last night and probably later tonight as well. As here we go, back to green flag racing. Jameson Heath, great restart, great launch again for the 71 ride as he is able to quickly pull back out in front of Brandon Puffenberger. 0.6 of a second, and he is looking to run away with it as drivers beating and banging on each other. Everyone's trying to battle their way up towards the front of the field. Everyone's trying to gain those final positions positions and trying to work themselves into a solid finish here this evening. As Corey Crowell looks like he's going to get up, scrape the outside fences. Here comes that 48 ride of Grant Humphrey. Unfortunately for Humphrey, taking that wave around, he had to start at the rear of the field here, so it's taken him a while to work through some of that lap traffic, racing his way back up here towards the front and towards the lead lap cars. And for everyone else, they're running out of time, but Jamison Heath disappears off the racing surface. Where's he gone? He's still blinking here late in this race. There he is as the white flag has been displayed for the 71 ride, having connection issues here on the final lap is something you do not want to see, as Brandon Puffenbarger in tow have one more chance, one more shot is for the final time here this evening down the Boeing back straightaway into corner number 3. Nice and easy out of corner number 4. It is the tied number 71 of Jamison Heath, who will tame the lady in black here this evening. What a run, what a drive here for that beautiful number 71 machine here in this one, as I don't know who that guy is, but he's going to get banned real quick. That is for certain. I don't know who the fuck that is. What a retard. What a retard. See you later, bitch. Serial designation. What a fucking retard. In my comment section, buddy, get out of here, you 5 fucking subscriber fucking bot. Get the fuck out of here. Get out of here. Get him gone. He's banned. He's gone. Piss off, loser. As out in front is Jamison Heath, who picks up the win and pulls the 71 up and into victory lane. He gets to celebrate here at the track that is too tough to tame, but not too tough for Jamison Heath, as he picks up the dub and will get to celebrate here this afternoon, man. What a run, what a drive, what a performance out of the 71 machine, as he's able to get those late race restarts that he was needing here desperately, to not spin the tires, not make a mistake, and to pull himself up and into victory lane here this evening. Obviously keeping that number 5 of Brandon Puffenbarger, the 12 of Josh Bromfield back there at bay, and the rest of the field, as he's able to claim victory here in the Lady in Black, man. The track that is too tough to tame, as we'll get ready to pull Jamison in the rest of our front runners here, the rest of our top 3 up into the broadcast booth here for some post-race interviews. As post-race interviews going to come up here in just a little bit, and for each and every one of these drivers, this is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be interesting to see, obviously, what they got to say. It's a big win for Heath. He's going to be pumped up about this one, but, you know, what is Puffenbarger and Josh Bromfield, man? They had a bit of an up-and-down day. Let's see what they got to say here, as we'll bring our race winner right up into the broadcast booth after picking up the dub here in the INTEC 300 here this afternoon, man. He picks up the win. Let's get him here into the booth. Hey, Jamison, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir, I do.
Jamison, man, what a run, what a race here this afternoon, man. The track that is too tough to tame, you're able to tame it here this evening as you pull the tied 71 ride up and into victory lane, man. Take us back through it, and what's going through your mind after a, you know, fairly up and down day for yourself. Obviously a very fast race car, but things got off to a rough start right at the get-go for you, but you're able to rebound not once, but twice, or maybe even 3 times, and work yourself still up here into victory lane.
Yeah, man, I'll be honest, after lap 1, I was down in the dumps. I did not think I was going to get anything. Going into this race, after not being able to set a time in qualifying, I was just thinking, you know, I think a top 5 will be good. Once we actually got those long runs in, man, this car was fast, and I was able to just keep on passing people and get up to the lead, and basically never looked back. It was awesome.
Yeah, definitely awesome. Definitely interesting race. As this track obviously very, very difficult. We saw restarts being very hard on drivers here, even front runners, and including yourself here this afternoon, having an issue there on one of those restarts. Man, take us back through kind of these late race restarts. You're not wanting to make another mistake. You're not wanting to spin the tires and take yourself out of it, like we saw with the 20 ride there late in this one, and a few other drivers here as well. Pretty much ruining their run here this afternoon with those late race mistakes on these restarts.
Yeah, I think one big thing is that after a long run, you kind of forget that, man, this track is slick, especially when like after pacing, and it's just impatience, and we saw it all race long. So many, so many wrecks on the restarts, just people not being able to control the wheel spin or not spin the tires on the restart. I kind of embarrassed after that one incident when Corey spun, but luckily they all got tangled up. They all eliminated my competition, and I was able to pounce on it. So
Absolutely works into your favor as you pull the 71 ride up and into victory lane here this evening in the INTEC 300 here from Darlington Raceway. Jameson, who would you like to thank for such a great run and strong performance out there on the speed?
yeah, all the admins here at ORL, the race control that's new, they did a really good job today, as far as I could tell. Definitely a good change, something that needed to be made. But yeah, big thanks to all the operators and everyone who puts the work and effort into making this league happen.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone behind the scenes making this all come together, run smoothly, and putting on great shows like they did here tonight. And for yourself, you're able to drive yourself to the front and park yourself into victory lane. Jameson, congratulations again on picking up the win here this evening in the INTEX 300. As brother, we can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack again next Sunday, and hopefully right back up here in victory lane, maybe going back to back here in the Outcast Racing League.
Yeah, thank you.
Absolutely. Enjoy the rest of your night and don't party too hard down there in victory lane. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our race winner, Jameson Heath, as Heath picks up the dub and pulls himself up and into the Darlington Raceway victory lane. We'll get ready to jump down pit side and bring in our second place finisher, the number 5 of Brandon Puffin Barger. Puffin Barger comes home in position number 2. Let's get him up here into the booth. Hey, Brandon, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. To get a copy?
Yes, sir.
Brandon, man, great run, great drive for you here this evening, brother. Obviously up 19 positions on the speedway. Our hard charger here for the afternoon. Take us kind of back through this one. Obviously, a good amount of yellow flags, a lot of issues on those restarts, and obviously late in this one, you're battling up inside the top 5. You got your teammates right there with you. It's looking like you guys are lined up nicely here for what could have been a really, really solid night for you and the Middle Finger Motorsports team, and unfortunately, you see the 20 ride of Corey Crowell spin the tires. He goes around. He ends up taking Colton Manich out with him right there, and that moves you right up into second. And unfortunately, just could not find your way around that 71 of Jameson Heath late in this race. But take us back, obviously, through this race, and then what's going through your mind there as you see your teammates run into these late race issues?
Yeah, it was clean. Darlington League races, officials here on iRacing, you're going to expect multiple cautions, so nothing too unexpected with that. But yeah, I was just trying to keep the tires on it there. Didn't take tires after the first stage. And then after the second stage, I found myself top 10, so I was happy with that. And then, yeah, that restart that Corey had control of, I think he got a little overzealous in second gear and just spun the tires. And the only thing that was going through my mind, because I've had the worst luck the last 2 or 3 months on iRacing, is hopefully I can just shoot the middle and get through it, which I did. And then after that, it was, once Jameson was out front, it's kind of hard to run him down. I think I got it to about half a second, and then that kind of just stalled out and got tight. So It's just hoping that I could finish second after that last restart, which I did. So I'm happy with the run.
Yeah, absolutely. Being able to hang on there, able to keep these guys still back there at bay and not leaking any late race positions, and put yourself still into a very, very strong finish here in the INTEC 300 this afternoon. Brandon, who would you like to thank, man, for such a great run and strong performance out there on the racetrack?
Just Anthony for putting this all on. You for putting the show on. Shinko with Colton, they helped me and Corey and everybody else a lot. My teammates, and that's about it.
Beauty. Well, Brandon, great run, great drive out there on the Speedway, man. We can't wait to see you back out on the racetrack again next Sunday afternoon, and hopefully right back up here in the broadcast booth, maybe one spot better and into victory lane yourself.
Sounds good.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our second place finisher, Brandon Puffinbarger. As Brandon comes home here in position number 2, we'll get ready to pull in now our third place finisher, the number 12 ride. It's the Poor Boy Motorsports machine of Josh Bromfield. Let's get some congratulations in the chat here. Bromfield coming home in third. Let's get him up into the booth. Hey, Josh, it's Aaron up here in the Peacemaker Broadcasting booth. Did you get a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Josh, man, great run, great drive for you here this evening, brother. Take us back through what's going through your mind after a very solid third-place run here in the INTEC 300.
Yeah, just trying to maintain tires the whole race. Knew the track was eating the tires up, and knew there was going to be a lot of mishaps throughout the race, and luckily we were able to steer clear of some of those mishaps. We did get in one, and was able to work our way back up through the field, and then took tires there at the end and just kind of tried to save some fuel, and luckily it kept me up there in the front, and we were able to finally finish with the third. It's been a rough start to the season for us. I think I've missed one race, and the other two I finished in the back. So definitely a turnaround that is needed, and hopefully continue in that path going forward.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to work yourself, forward, trying to keep this momentum up and continue on getting good, solid runs and performances here. You got to feel like, one of these nights they're finally going to break through and try to find yourself up and into victory lane.
Yeah, Darlington's not one of my favorite, but after today's run, I found a few lines that worked, and I kind of enjoyed it there at the end, and was able to be up there. So really excited, happy for Poor Boy Motorsports. I think everybody did fairly well, and Outcast Racing League for hosting the good race, and really excited for next week, and hopefully do some practice and some team practice this week, and see if we can't get all of us up there in the top 10 next week.
Yeah, absolutely. Trying to get another good run, another good finish, man. Should be a great show. Should be another great event here, and hopefully we'll see you right back up here in the broadcast booth. But Josh, here tonight, man, solid third-place run, a solid performance out of that Poor Boy Motorsports number 12 ride, brother. Who'd you like to thank for a great performance here in the INTEC 300?
I'd like to thank all the guys that was up there running. Everybody was fairly clean that ran around me. Outcast Racing League for putting on a good race. My team, I don't think I would be where I was without my teammates. Peacemaker Gaming, I appreciate you putting on the best broadcast that's out there. And again, looking forward to next week.
Absolutely, brother. We can't wait to see you back out there on the racetrack, and hopefully right back up here into the booth, maybe a couple spots better and into victory lane, brother. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and congratulations again on the third place run.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, give it up there for our third place finisher, Josh Bromfield. As Bromfield comes home in position number 3, man. Great run, great drive, great performance there for that Poor Boy Motorsports number 12 ride, man. As another great show, another great race here with the Outcast Racing League, man. These guys always putting together some absolutely amazing shows, some absolutely amazing races, man. And again, here tonight, another wicked show, another amazing battle and great racing here on the Speedway. And man, another amazing show for our sponsors. As a huge shout out to INTEC. INTEC 300 here this evening is the INTEC 300. Obviously, INTEC, the sponsor here of this race, man. We can't thank them enough for coming on board, being our sponsor here for tonight, man. I wish I wasn't sick. I wish I could have been even more on the ball, obviously, even better on some of the calls and everything else. And the mental focus that's starting to fade away from me here as well. I'm going to quickly hop off. I'm going to try to get some food into me, get some drink into me, and try to recoup as much as I can before 8 o'clock Eastern time, man. I got a couple hours before my next broadcast, and obviously going to try to survive another amazing NASCAR race later on here this evening. But unfortunately, that's going to do it for us here in this one, man. We can't thank you guys enough for tuning in, everyone coming in, showing the love, showing the support, man. We appreciate each and every single one of you. Huge shout out to Jameson Heath again for picking up the INTEC 300 victory here from Darlington Raceway. The lady in black has been good to us here this evening, and we can't wait to see you guys back here in the grandstands cheering these drivers on, and obviously watching some more great racing here on Peacemaker Gaming in just a little bit, as we'll be back up here in the booth in just a little while. So if you guys haven't already, make sure you guys hit that subscribe button, turn the bell notification on, that way you guys never miss it when we go green flag racing here on Peacemaker Gaming, and we'll see you guys back here in the booth later on tonight. Well, thank you all for watching. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll see you all in the next one, man. Peace and love, ladies and gentlemen. Peace and love.
Tonight's racing action is brought to you by RT3 Design LLC. When it comes to designing your dream home, precision matters, just like it does on the racetrack. At RT3 Design, we specialize in custom residential design, construction drawings, and bringing your vision to life, from concept to blueprint. If you can dream it, we can design it. RT3 Design LLC, built on precision, designed for life. Tonight's
Check, 1, 2, radio check. Still. Run the bomb through the corner, lane up through the trial zone. Not sure why we did that. I don't know the plan. 88 was screaming everything to get to the bottom. Maybe we should just run all out and wait until after the fourth pit. Get out of the gas, slow down. Split up right in front of me.
Here comes that number 15 of Cameron Combs. Combs trying to walk his way. It's Kurt Sponsler. Sponsler will pick up stage win. Mr. Garland and Garland leading the way, showing these drivers how to get it done.
Radio check, 1, 2, radio check. Still.